Hills, watch me have an allergy attack. Guys, welcome to September. This will be at the end of the month, so I'm gonna try and keep everything relatively quick because I just edited together, not just, but last week I edited together the August vlog, and it was feature film length. Like, it was so much, just for no reason. Well, I had a lot of feelings, so I had to talk about my feelings. But I don't really have many of those feelings left because I have left them all in that vlog. I've vented them out, journaled them out. Obviously, some of those things are recurring and some of those things are, you know, life issues that I'm going through, so they'll be in process still, but I'm feeling much better this month. We didn't have those problems that we had at the start of last month. I mean, we did. There were still people that didn't cancel their pledge, which is, it is what it is. I can fix that. I know the way to fix it, so we'll just move forward from that. I anticipated it happening. I didn't want it to happen, but of course these things happen, so it's fine. I mean, I'm not going to say it's fine. Like, it is fine in the sense that, like, it can be fixed and it's a relatively easy fix. My actual personal feelings about it, like they were last month, it's just not nice to wake up to and have to, like, deal with all those problems all over again every morning. But that's fine. As long as my headspace is in a better place, I'm much more equipped to deal with that relatively calmly. Last month it just kind of all piled on top of each other and it was like problem after problem after problem, and I felt like I was getting no help. So not from anyone that was, it was Patreon. I felt like half the time I wasn't getting help. So but everything did get resolved. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but it'll be the end of September by the time you see this. But all of the missing funds were remitted to me, so everything is fine. And this month we didn't have any of those pledge processing issues, to the best of my knowledge. I don't. Maybe I should go and check again. I have a couple of things to show you. If you can see back there, that was a mood board before it got taken over with a bunch of digital downloads. I have so many folders here. This is my big project folder, and last night I went through a bit of a hectic, crazy moment where I was like, all these digital downloads are just taking over the entire studio. And I tried to put most of them up there, but there are so many just for August alone. So I decided to print every single thing out and have it in this folder. So this is literally a collection of all the digital downloads through playtests so far. That way I will have them accessible if I ever need it. This was the folder that I used for my whimsical illustration course when I had all of that content in there, when I had like the intros to the lessons, the digital downloads, the tutorial handouts. I used to have all of that in here. So this kind of becomes like my project of the moment folder where I keep everything stored just to kind of archive and catalog, just to have it. I don't know why I really need it, but I feel like I need it. Because I have them all up there, but it helps me as well, like when I go to catalog all the content and like bundle it all together for the OneDrive and then bundle it on Etsy. Like, it helps when I have access to all of this stuff. So it's because I'm terrible on the computer for when I'm working. I'm usually going so quickly and trying to do so much all at once that I never name anything properly or put it in the right folder. So it's usually like it's named something crazy like test 2 PP1 and it's spelled wrong somewhere. So then I go try and find it and I have no idea where it is. I've tried being better about that. I did do a better job this year in playtest 2 than I did last year, so I'm a bit more up on it this year. I just take the extra 2 seconds to write out the proper name and title for it and put it in the right folder. But yeah, just a bad habit that I got into years ago when I was just doing too much. My brain was scattered and I just would save something off just so it wouldn't be deleted, but usually my head was already in 2 projects beyond that, so I wasn't even caring about where that file went, to be honest. This little folder is something I got from Target. It's just like an A5 folder. But I use a little Dylusions journal band. This is to add the journal inserts together, but I use these for these little folders because I don't really add journals together like that. I just use the elastics that are in the notebook. But this is all like Patreon project stuff. I usually just fold it in here and just have it. Like I said, I like to catalog a lot of stuff. I usually use plastic tubs, but those are all currently being occupied by other things, so I just was using folders at this point. But this has got, like, you know, paper samples for product testing and ideas, like printout stuff. Even when I did your little Memory to Memento, the little test thing. I don't need to keep all this stuff once the playtest is done. Like, a lot of the research kind of stuff, a lot of the, you know, sometimes I do keep it just because it's a fun, like, it's a fun little memory box to have, like, the whole test, the whole experience, the whole project in one place. But some of the more disposable items, like if there's like a little piece of a handout where I just scribbled a couple of numbers on there, I can get rid of that, because there's so much clutter if I keep all of it. I usually just keep all of the original sketches, the original file artwork for the products and stuff, and anything that I think might come in handy in the future, like especially for Whimsical Illustration, all of that content, all of the research, all of the prep, all of the notes, everything that I needed to make the course is in there, just in case I need it to reference in the future. So I would keep it for that, but for playtest, I don't think there's a real need to keep a lot of it, and once the playtest is over. But for now, it's in that folder, and I have all of these as well, which are like original sketches for product artwork. There's like little templates that I use to get the sizing correct. This one was an interesting project. I have never done this specific project before. Hopefully the box is already sent out, or you might know, but just in the off chance that they aren't, because I haven't actually ordered that product yet. I'm ordering that and another one this week. The production times on those, like the lead times, aren't super long, so I still hope that I can get these out before the end of September, but on the off chance that they do send early October, I don't really want to tell you what those products are, but all of the artwork is kind of there, and it was just an interesting process because I had one manufacturer, the same one that I did, that I used last month, that I said maybe I wasn't going to use again. I know people are like, oh, but we really like it, like, just so I went ahead and I did it again. Like, I was like, I'm gonna give them another chance to see if we can get this project going, and if it goes well, then hopefully, like, yes, I would consider keeping one of those products available, but it was all the same thing over again. In fact, it was worse this time. I had paid an invoice like in full, and then I got given 2 more invoices after that, saying that the first invoice, that was a final invoice, wasn't reflective of the changes that had been made since I sent through the original work. And I was like, I didn't make any changes. Like, where is this coming from? So I called them, and they were telling me that, well, what changes did you request? And I was like, none. I liked it the way it was. I was completely fine with it. I saw the proof. What happened to the proof? And they were like, oh, well, our artist made changes. And I was like, well, you guys can't just make changes and then up my price because you made the changes. Like, I didn't want them. And it just became like a whole thing. They are really good on their customer service. That's why it's like, it sucks, because I think, whatever, I'll see the product if it comes. Maybe it's one of those things that, like, if it comes and it's good and it's exactly how I want it, maybe it's one of those things that I will move forward with and just have to deal with the fact that I need to be very, very, very clear, direct. Even though I already was, like, 1,000,000,000% of the time, I just don't think the communication is clear enough. I think they want to be, but I don't think it is, and that's just a struggle because I can't trust it. And yeah, so anyway, that's in manufacturing. I've got a couple more things I need to send off this week. The whole box itself, I've gone back to craft. Last month we did the color box for Playbox. I didn't not love this, but also I didn't love it. It kind of fell in the middle for me. I just don't know what it was. I think it was all the white, but then again I was like, well, what other color would I have chosen? Like, it was collage. I like the idea of it. For me, maybe I saw them for too long, maybe I don't know, just wasn't living for it. So I went back to the craft box. I have a new dimension. This is a mock-up that I made from paper and washi tape. The illustrations from over there, which are one of the products in the box, are featured on the top. One of the products is featured on the bottom as well. We've got little illustrations from the calendar for September. I like to pop up the illustrations. Like, if they're in one place, you can guarantee they'll be in another place. I love to collaborate with myself. No, I think it's nice to tie it all together, to like theme it all together. And yeah, I'm really happy that that's all good. Should be good. I'm happy about it. I have catalogued those stuff, like I said, which is great because now I can use that mood board as a mood board again. Also, having catalogued the stuff, I know I put out on Instagram more recently if people even liked all the extra digital downloads, like the reference samples specifically, because it's one thing to be given like, oh, a collage sheet download, and like if I'm doing a collage video and you can just use that and follow along, but then to have like the scans of the pages, how they're finished, like, I don't know if people even care about that. I don't know if people really want to see that. Everything I do on Patreon is what I would want to receive as a patron. So since I'm like super picky about what I get, and I could be taken with anything, usually I like to lay everything out there because I know myself as a consumer wants access to all parts of the process or the project. So Sometimes I do think though that it's a bit of an overload, and I didn't put that question out there because I was going to change it. Honestly, I was still going to do it anyway. You know, I'm very decisive. But I wanted to gauge the feedback because it's something that I do take on board for the next time. I don't typically like to change while I'm in the playtest, but there are things I changed from last year to this year, which were a direct result of feedback that I got last year. One of the things in particular about, you know, speaking about digital downloads is that I noticed there was a bit of an expectation issue with the digital downloads, and one of them, like one of the issues even kind of got out of hand, like in the playtest itself, like in the comment section, which eventually was all resolved, so it's fine, but it's really hard to know exactly what is the right amount to put out there. Last year I entered competitively, looking at a list of everything my peers had on offer and for what price, to know that I wasn't undercutting anyone, but I also wasn't jumping way above the board and doing something unrealistic. The issue with that is that because some people are it's not an issue, but what I noticed is a lot of people cross-pledge between other Patreons. So you might be pledged to playtest, but you might also be pledged to 2 or 3 other Patreons as well, supporting your other artists that you want to support or creators that you want to support. So people bring in their ideas about what happens in that Patreon and bring it to another Patreon, and it's not wrong because you are the consumer at the end of the day, and you should know what you're going to get and how you're going to get it to know that it's worth investing your money and time into. So for me, it's been really difficult. I did research a lot, and I even joined 4 Patreons last year to completely understand how this was working and what was on offer on all these different platforms and how were they creating, mostly I wanted to show support, but also I wanted to research it as well. I wanted to know, well, does this work over here? 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 What is it that makes each person so special? What is it about their content that is a reflection of who they really are as creators or what they really put out there? It was a super interesting learning experience that I just had the added benefit of having to be, like, getting to be able to support people for those few months. But bringing all that information back to playtest, it's interesting to try and find the balance between your expectations and my expectations. My expectations, I dare say, probably exceed everyone else's expectations because I am just hypercritical of what I put out there and what I produce, and I'm just very laser focused on doing more and more and more and more and more. I don't think I've met a bunch of people or a lot of people that expect more from me than I expect from myself. In fact, I don't know if I really have met anyone like that so far. So it's a pretty good thing because I feel like most of what I put out there is received well. The issue is if it's not clear enough, this is what I felt anyway, if the expectations weren't explained clearly, people could get the wrong idea or could formulate their own opinions based on another Patreon and bring it in. So this year I did decide, because the digital downloads was a point of contention last year for a few people, I just decided that I wouldn't offer a specific date that they would go up. I would just put them up as they came. And in essence, it became a lot better, I think, because the digital downloads were now specifically linked or tied to the video or to the content that was going up. So if we were going to Disneyland and doing the Disneyland tutorial, then that download set of downloads was specific to that content and it made sense for it to be there. It wasn't just a random download just because, which sometimes I feel like last year that's what it was. I know that there were reasons for them, but that's just how it felt to me, and I'm the one putting it out there. So I can't even imagine what that would feel like to other people. So I wanted it to be a little more intentional, and I also realized that would help alleviate any of the stress of expecting that as soon as the month turned over, everyone was going to get like 65 downloads. It's not like a huge problem that would bring down playtest, but those are the types of little things, little pieces of feedback or little information that I bring from one experience to the next, just to say that I've learned something. I'm a very slow learner. But I think that's doing well, and I just guess I wanted to ask on Instagram, is that something that you're interested, or is it working? Because I was very curious to know if that was doing well for you, or if that was just too much. And there can be such thing as too much. I know for people that, like myself, there really isn't. I mean, I could watch someone that I want to be watching, I could watch them all day long, all night long, weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and I still want more. But if you're also trying to play along in the experience, like if I were doing some kind of course and I just didn't have the time, I actually feel terrible about it. And it almost puts a completely negative spin on it if I'm being overwhelmed with so much, which that is kind of where I feel like I've teetered on especially through August. I can't say September because I haven't really started putting anything out there for September yet. But for August, I think I pushed a little too far with too much learning and too many tutorials. I don't know. That's one of those things that I'll also have to kind of assess at the end of the day. Did I vary it up enough? Did I give people a break to be able to catch their breath and try something new? Or did I put so many lessons on so many people's plates that they just felt like, ooh, that was a bit much. Like, thanks, but too much too soon. Yeah, those are weird things. You want to be able to do your best to kind of meet in the middle between your expectations and my expectations, and sometimes I don't know if I'm doing it, and sometimes I think I might be doing it, and sometimes I think I'm not. So that's just one of those things for me to keep in mind as I move forward. I'm already talking for way too long. I can see it. I don't want this to be as long as the last one was, but you know what I'm like. I say I'll be on here for 2 minutes and then 60 hours later I'm still talking. Yeah, no, I think I'm just being a little reflective because a whole month has gone by and that is half the playtest already. It's only 2 months this year, so any changes I want to implement now, any small things I want to change, I should probably do it now. I don't think I will. I actually think I'll just keep going with the way that I've been going. Right now I have to film a style files video, which is, like I said, this is one of those times where if I feel like I've thrown so many tutorials out there, I need to back off a little bit and give people a space to breathe, to watch content, to learn something different, to not have to actually sit down and try everything they're seeing or print out 65 sheets, but maybe just to look and watch and just relax a little bit. So I'm going to try and take the pace back down. It's also hard because I put YouTube videos up there as well, so it's like maybe I will give you a break on Patreon, but if you're watching over on YouTube, you're not getting the break. I don't know what to do. It's been a lot. It's been a good challenge this year. I am so happy it was just 2 months because it's completely unsustainable for longer than 2 months this year anyway. Last year I managed, this year couldn't manage 3, which is also sad because I know it's almost halfway over, and it's more than halfway over at this point that I'm recording this, and it's just really sad because I do love it. I do love sharing. I love what I see. I love experimenting with all these different types of like creativity. I love pushing myself to do it, knowing that there is a safety net for me to be able to push to do it, that I'm investing my time wisely because it's, you know, I'm not going to be left 3 weeks from now worrying about where rent's coming from, which, you know, boring conversation, but that's one of the things that Patreon does allow me to do for this time. And, you know, cross fingers, if I invest my money wisely, I can do it for a few months afterwards as well, which is what I'll do. But you know what I'm like, I always take on a new project, and as it is, I'm doing Creator Box this month, which is a pre-order, so it's not going to be a crazy thing, but I'm super excited for Creator Box as well. Hopefully by the time you're seeing this, you'll have heard more about it and you'll have seen who's involved, but yeah, oh, so excited. I have another thing to do tonight, so I got a lot to do today. I can't be on here forever, but I've already got in for 20 minutes. I'm gonna get this video started. I'm also gonna get my YouTube video started, and I have to go. Hi, hello. I'm printing this. I printed it. I'm gonna be in my Hobonichi, no, Fobonichi, the fake one. I'm gonna be in my Fobonichi weeks, who I've been neglecting. Clock the reference. It's Kath and Kim. I'm going to be in that today doing a YouTube video. I realized last month I didn't vlog a lot of behind the scenes of YouTube. Not on purpose, I just completely forgot that that was also something I was doing behind the scenes. So sorry if you were trying to look at some of that behind the scenes footage. I'm going to try and do that this month. It essentially looks the same thing, same setup, same camera, same editing, same everything, but the content is different. So I should also probably address some of my feelings about YouTube, because I didn't touch on that. And that is something that I've been doing a lot longer than Patreon, and maybe you do want to know some of those thoughts and feelings behind the scenes as well. Just brace yourself. I think I want to keep this about 10 minutes long, but who knows. Skip 10 minutes, and if I'm still talking, you'll know that I didn't do that. YouTube is an amazing place and a terrible place all in one, and I don't want to get it twisted. Like, in my head, I've got this type of a person that I refer to as a pretty pastel pink person. And it's not in reference to anyone in particular. Like, please don't go on a witch hunt. To me, it's a term that I think of when I think of people who just present the lightest, airiest, fairiest commentary about their life, about what's going on. It is all perfect, it all works, everything works well, and if they're gonna touch on an issue, it is the slightest issue with the most perfect little sprinkling of fairy dust on top. And to be fair, I don't begrudge people doing that. I think it is a nice relief for people to see a lot of, a lot of content that doesn't just leave you heavy. So I do appreciate a lot of what those people do, and I am guilty, I wouldn't say guilty, but I mean, I do that too. Like, sometimes I have been a pretty pastel pink person where I've just looked at people, not looked at people, but like looked at my content and thought, well, I'm just gonna make this like very simple to digest today. Like, I'm just gonna give a voiceover that is just very lighthearted, even though I'm not feeling the best, maybe I'm super tired, maybe I'm going through something personal, but I don't really want to put it, I don't want to put that on anyone. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's why I don't have this negative connotation with pretty pastel pink people, but sometimes I think you have to get a little bit more real. I personally never felt comfortable to do that online in a public setting like YouTube. I have done it a few times, and it scares the life out of me every time I do it because I think it's just too revealing. I like to be quite a private person. Ironic, because I'm literally sharing so much in these vlogs. These vlogs are probably the first time I've ever felt being super candid, and you know, if you've been watching YouTube more recently over the past couple of months, I've been stepping into more a place of candor, because it is important to sometimes say, these are the things I struggle with. I don't leave you with this sense, hopefully I don't leave you with this sense of like, oh, we have to help him, or he's going through so much, or like, I don't want to leave you feeling worse off when you watch the videos. That is never what I want to do. But there is also a real virtue to telling people the reality of some situations, so that they also don't find themselves there and then feel like they've been tricked into doing something that they thought was all easy and pretty and pastel and pink, and it's just not. It's a little dirty, it's a little grungy, it's a little scary, it's a little dark sometimes, and that is the reality of YouTube. YouTube is an incredible platform in the sense that we have given celebrity to people now. It is in their own hands. I don't believe before YouTube and social media in general there was the opportunity to make yourself a celebrity. That was always predestined by people who would make you that celebrity. Or not predestined, but you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't really take that into your own hands. These days you can, and what is super interesting about that is that, you know, as teams of people are behind celebrity personas, you could even say, because sometimes those celebrities aren't who they are projected to be. It's a creation. It is creativity bred out of a team of people who are PR experts and who are marketing experts and who, you know how to brand an image and who know how to sell. Like, being a celebrity was, I don't think, ever really designed to be easy until we had social media and we realized as people we could choose who we wanted to follow and we could invest our time, money and attention into people. That also bred a whole series of issues with people unexpectedly becoming you know, a public figure, or people who gained a large following or got a platform to voice their opinions, and then a bunch of people realized, hey, like, we liked you when you didn't have that opinion, now you have that opinion, what are we going to do with you? Like, and you know, essentially we are now seeing a more raw and vulnerable side to public figures that we haven't seen in the past. They've always been very carefully curated. Even if they were curated to be problematic, sometimes, you know, bad PR is the best PR, or free PR, or whatever it was called back in the day. Like, you could actually, it was good and it was kind of incentivized to have a scandal because it would generate your popularity back up again. You would be able to, you know, feed off of that success for a while, make yourself relevant again. In the celebrity landscape, on social media, that idea has been adopted as well, and social media is interesting because you can monetize it. So now you don't even have to bring a scandal up so that your name's out there to sell a product. You can just bring a scandal up, and if there's an ad running on your video, you're going to make money off of it. So some people have been incentivized to be problematic, but whereas before I feel like celebrity was the creation of a team, I feel like now the celebrity is the person, and that person's problematic behavior isn't so much constructed as it is just natural. That is a person who is struggling through something. That is a person who is not doing the best right now, or having a really difficult time, you know, finding their best self and putting it out there. And the more we watch it, because we're just attracted to train wrecks, or we're just attracted to drama. Hello, guilty. I watch The Real Housewives of Everywhere. I'm attracted to that drama. I love to watch it play out from a sociological standpoint. I love to see how people react to it, see how people interact with it, see what people take on board with it. Mostly for learning. I will say there's an entertainment aspect. I do like to watch it for that. It's a bad thing. I get it. Not perfect. But I blame my mom. If I can blame anyone, she introduced me to Big Brother when I was a kid, so I'm a naturally nosy person. No, but it just is what it is. A lot of people are attracted to watching those kind of things play out because we have a curiosity and a fascination to put ourselves in these situations, and there's almost a bit of a fear of like, well, what would I do if that was me, or like, what would I, you know, we role play these things in our head, and social media is so interesting because it's such a real look at someone. When they take a fall, they're taking a real personal fall in their life, and it's sometimes very, very bad to be connected to that. If you're, I will say, I've been a viewer of YouTube for a long, long time, so a lot of how I approach YouTube is, if I were sitting on the other end, what would this do? If I were sitting on the other end right now and I was not having a great day, is my video gonna make that bad day worse? Don't do it. Like, that's just as simple as I keep it. If I'm making a video right now and I think, well, if I were a viewer and I knew that I had just gone, it's so weird to say. If I were a viewer of me, so let's just say like I'm Joe and I'm watching James. So I'm Joe. James has just gone on Patreon. James is putting videos out on YouTube that, they're not like his usual videos. Or he missed one. Well, now I think like, well, he doesn't care. He's just on Patreon. That's how I would think, like, if Joe were James. But do you know what I mean? So I have those things that run through my head to make sure that I am meeting my following audience, workmates, whatever you want to call yourselves, friends, anything. I'm meeting you guys with the respect of accountability that I have for myself, to know that what I put out there is going to be taken and it will either influence for good or for bad, in a very simplistic way. It could do neither. It could just be filler content that people just breeze through and watch, or it accidentally plays on a loop. But you know, I do take that responsibility really seriously, and as someone that likes to watch a lot of YouTube content because I like how real it is, or sometimes I get like super fascinated with how fake it is and how fake like people want it to seem, but you can actually see the cracks of the real stuff showing through. I'm so interested in people and how they're relating and how they're doing and how they think. I'm just fascinated by it. So YouTube has been a huge learning experience for me. I also watch a lot of documentaries on YouTube. YouTube is a great space for me to relax and unwind, to learn something, to be entertained, but it's not always the best. It's not always feeding good parts of me. Sometimes it really does stimulate parts of me that are, maybe I'm feeling a little frustrated and I want to go and relate to someone who's feeling frustrated. So I go and feed that part of me that I know I can get from a drama channel. And it's not always the best. When I notice that it's not the best and I am constantly in that space, I make a conscious decision to get out of it, because I can become very addicted to watching certain YouTube videos. Usually they're quite random, and a lot of what I get addicted to is actually just very relaxing. I'm very stressed sometimes and I get very overworked and busy. I also spend a lot of time filming, a lot of time editing, so I like to watch a lot of content play through that keeps me calm and relaxed. So I usually watch like soap videos, soap making videos, not the cutting ones, the soap making videos. I've watched Japanese arcade game videos. I watched the acrylic nails, like so many of those. I've watched so many acrylic nail videos. I swear I could do a full set of acrylics. Pop by the house if you've got a kit. I want to try it. But yeah, no, I do watch a lot of that stuff just to make sure that I am using it in a way that is productive as a viewer. Everything I learn as a viewer, I take on board as a creator. So that's probably where I'll leave it at now, because I think anything deeper than that is probably going to go too psychological and I haven't really prepared anything. These are just my very candid thoughts about it. But yeah, YouTube is an incredible space for me to remain accessible with this creative journey that I'm on, for me to be able to put out there and engage with you in a way that is, that is like exciting and full of joy for what I'm doing and what I'm using and how I'm creating, and it's a really great platform for me to do it. I've never had all my eggs in that basket. In fact, I took all the eggs out of that basket the minute I joined YouTube, because you can't rely on it. It's always changing. Everything in social media changes. As far as business goes, that's where my projects are. That's where I do online workshops, in-person workshops, Patreon, Creator Box, manufactured products. There's business stuff over here. YouTube seems very personal to me. Even though I don't share a lot of my personal life on there, I share a lot of my personal journey with creativity on there, and that's what I like to keep it as. And that's why when I turn up to do a YouTube video like today, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing, because I know that's going to be the best opportunity for me to enjoy myself, and then hopefully in turn you'll enjoy it as well. So that's my thoughts for YouTube today. I'm going to get around to doing this because I've been talking for 10 minutes. And yeah, the other things I have to do today, I have to edit another video. I have to edit this video as well once it's done. So I've got 2 videos to edit. I have a whole bunch of files to go through and spot clean because I've done all the scanning but I never cleaned them up in the image files. So I have about, I want to say 30. I have 30 of those files to spot clean. Such a random thing, like retouch I should say. And it's just things like eraser marks, and sometimes the scanner has cat hair in it. I was going to say I don't know how that happens, but I do know how that happens. There's cat hair everywhere. So I have to clean up some of that, you know, those little scratches and dust speckles that happen in the scanning process. I also have to, I think I got a lot of my other stuff done. I have a lot of messages on Patreon that I have to get back to, and some issues with refunds still happening, so hopefully I can get around to that. I've got to do product ordering, and I have to prep for tomorrow. What's today? Yeah, I have to prep for tomorrow. I'm actually going to Disneyland again, but this time I'm not doing a full Disneyland video. I'll be doing little clips for a video because I'm getting Whimsyween prepared, and I want to go to different places that have like Halloween setups. Disneyland's just put their Halloween stuff up, and I want to be in those Halloweeny spaces and just vlog little bits and pieces so I can pull inspiration from. Like one time I did one of these images that I did, or when I was doing Mindy Lacefield's Goody Gumdrops class, I was super inspired by an ornament set that I saw at Target. So I never take for granted where inspiration could strike, so I'm gonna go and throw myself into a few Halloweeny spaces and then just vlog there, and then that will be a part of my research for Whimsyween prep. Which I'm vlogging just in case I want to make a video out of it. I think I do, but depending on what kind of content I get, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna do it if there's just no good content, but yeah, I think that's something that I'm gonna do tomorrow. Also because Steve is opening a new show, and I'm gonna go and support him, and that is it. So that's something else I have to prepare for today. I also have to eat lunch at some point because I am starving, and it is 3 p.m. Love that for me. Did I say good morning when I go in here? I've been going all morning, so I feel kind of exhausted. Last night I got back. I had a thing last night. I feel like I'll have told you this already by the time you see this video. But yeah, I had a event last night that I didn't get out of until 10 o'clock. And I had a full work day yesterday. I only ate once in the morning and kind of was dying at night, so I had Taco Bell, which was terrible, but I couldn't even finish all of it, so I felt a little bit better about that. But I want to be a bit better about what I'm eating today, because I do have a problem with just not eating so I can work, and then getting it to the end of the day and just trying to eat all the calories that I missed out on during the day. So I know that that's something I have to be mindful of, but I prioritize that low on the list, and I really should prioritize it higher. That's something I struggle with. That's all I can say about that. Alright, I'm gonna do this. Bye.
a pine tree down, fell through the ground like Alice. Oh, what a sound. This must be a nest. I got rocks and sticks against my chest. I'm Alice. Dear Queen of Hearts, I'ma grow you white roses so you can learn to be kind. Tell King of Hearts to arm all his forces so you can learn to be kind. Oh, what a start. Inside out and upside down. No stress, I'ma clean up this mess like Alice. First hand me scissors, then bring out the heavy artillery. Oh, justice is my middle name. I'm Alice. I'ma grow you white roses so you can learn to be kind. Tell King of Hearts to arm all his forces so you can learn to be kind. I'ma grow you white roses so you can learn to be kind. Tell King of Hearts to arm all his forces so you can learn to be kind. And the horizon silver line. Do you ever feel you don't get out what you're putting in? All your hopes and efforts are all in vain. Who will pick you up when you've lost everything? Does it all become for granted with a wedding ring?
They're gonna attack me. Hi, when was the last time I chatted to this? I don't remember. I want to say it was like a week ago. What day is it? I don't even know what day it is. It's like the second week of September or something. I don't know. It's about the middle of September is how it feels like to me, but I think that's next week. Maybe I'm stressing for no reason. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. I don't know. So much has happened since then. I can't remember any of it. Today, actually, I'm doing illustrations, little illustrations. I don't know if you can see them. They're not colored or anything. I did them on watercolor paper because I'm going to watercolor them on there. I'm testing out a new manufacturer, which just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I was looking for a new manufacturer for one specific product that I want to put in the Playbox, but I just don't know if it's going to I don't know what the quality is going to be like for this specific design of it. So there's something about the design of it that I want to make sure I can still translate in the product, and I don't know, whatever. It's so, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what it is, so it's pointless trying to explain it, but I'm testing the manufacturer nonetheless, and to do that, I kind of need to see products, and they let you buy a sample from them, but I figured if you're going to spend $100 trying to get a sample, you might as well actually just use the money and buy products. So I've decided to do that, and I was going to throw something together like really quickly, but then I realized, wait, I don't want hundreds of these just to test the quality and then not have anything to do with them. Like, I mean, it's washi stickers is what I'm really looking at. I just want washi stickers because I want something transparent, but well, I guess I told you now. So that's what I'm testing, and I need to test the watercolor specifically and see how that translates in that quality. That's just what I'm testing. But I didn't want to end up with a whole bunch of stickers that I just would keep for myself just as a test. So I thought, well, if I do it, then I'll be able to get a certain amount. And the quote that I got was really great because I could get 300 of each, and I could have 600 total. It works out to be really good. And that made me think, oh, well, if I have 300 of each, I can put them in the play boxes. Now, I don't know when they're going to get here. So they say they've got a pretty good workaround, like a lead time, which is like a production time, how long it takes for them to actually make it. But then you've got things like proofing and invoices and shipping. And so you just never really know. And that's the whole part of the testing it. Now, this was never a product in the play box. So it's kind of weird that I'm talking about it because every part of the business part of me is like, don't tell anyone, because if you're not going to put it in there, then they're going to be upset that you told them about it. But at the same time, you are getting behind the scenes. So this is typically something that might happen. Like, I have a decision to make and I just don't know. Typically, I would just stay very, very quiet about it. No one would even know. But I wanted to tell you because if it is going to work out, then I totally can put those in the boxes. There might be some spare that I could put on the Etsy store, but as it is, those illustrations actually work really well with something else that's in the box. So I mean, not 100%, but kind of. They all feel the same to me. All the illustrations kind of live in that same world, some of those. So I don't know, maybe it would work out, maybe it wouldn't. I guess it's subjective, but I wanted to test them anyway, and now I filmed like a little bit of the drawing part, not a lot, because I tend to move the paper so much when I'm drawing, and I didn't want to make it a whole video or anything, just because I had 32 illustrations to do. With a sticker sheet, I mean, I like to usually just pull different illustrations from different places, and I've just done random sticker sheets before. This one I wanted to actually try and do something that was all cohesively like a set, which I've got 2 designs. They're A5, so like this is the actual size of the sheets. And then there's 16 stickers on each because I divided everything up evenly. I don't know how that's going to look once I do all the cut lines and once I, reposition a few things on the actual file, but they should be pretty close to what I actually drew, and then that'll give me a really good indication of how I could translate one of the Creator Box products for Creator Box. So, this is one of those times where it's like, it's super helpful to be in Patreon because I can just test that. Other times in the past, I have just risked it and I have put out, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, sometimes even thousands of dollars, buying product thinking this may not work, but there's kind of no other option. I literally, the other day, I have a product back there. I'm not going to show it because maybe the play boxes won't go out until October, and I don't want to show you anything that's in there because I already spoiled it with the brass tag, but I have one of the products in there, and I went to order it. I went through the thing and the whole thing timed out, and I was like, oh, okay, so I've got to go back through the process. And I wanted a physical proof of it because I thought I'm actually going to get a lot of these because I could bring the cost down. The more you order, the cheaper it gets to order. So when you're doing, like when you're scaling a business and you do suddenly get more money to put back in there, it is better just to get more stock. It means you've got to have space for it. Like sometimes it just really overtakes the house, but for me, it's better to have that stock to sell rather than to buy many small quantities of it, because then the price it's too difficult to maintain. So I do like to get quite a large portion of product for the most part. I used to sell out all the time really quickly because I couldn't afford to get any more than what I had. And when you buy less, the price is higher to buy it. So it just becomes so difficult until you have some kind of like revolving capital. Boring. But the thing, I went through the process. The second time I went through it, I think I was just trying to go quickly so that it wouldn't time out again. And I forgot to press hard proof, like a physical proof to be sent, which was an extra amount of money as well that I factored in. I was like, well, if I'm going to order it, this is how I ordered 1,000 of them. Like 1,000. And it's a print material something, so I wanted to make sure, because I chose black and white, and I have chosen black and white as a print setting before in my first Inktober book that I did, and I did that with a manufacturer that I haven't worked with since, because I just found that I think they knew that they were kind of taking advantage, and that just put me really off, like immediately. When I ordered that book, I put it a black print setting because the images that I had, all the Inktober stuff was black and white, and they clearly saw that it was artwork that I was trying to reproduce in this book. And I even asked them, I was like, what's this going to look like? Is this going to be okay? Because typically if you pick the black print setting, it is cheaper by a lot than the color print setting. So they actually sent me back that Inktober book, and it was printed as if it was text. Like, it looked like a really bad photocopy, and they printed it and showed it to me, and I was like, what on earth is this? And they said, oh yeah, if you want the higher quality, you have to pick color. And I was like, you're having me on, right? Because color means color, and you know I gave you black and white files. And they're like, yeah, I know, but black printing is just, it's the type of, it's also a lower quality because we consider that text printing. And I think, well, would you change it to text printing then and say anyone that's looking to print photos, like, don't do it in black printing. So I've had this problem before, and even then I had physical proofs so that I could check that stuff before I actually did an order. So this time, having forgotten to press that while I was going really quickly through it and ordering 1,000 of them and choosing black printing, and because you don't, until you approve it, they won't print it. So I thought, okay, well, I'll test the black printing. If it doesn't look good, I'll pick color and then I'll get the higher quality. But then I realized once I paid the invoice, I was like, there's no proof. Like, it's just a digital proof. And they don't show you, on the digital proof, they just show you where it's gonna cut. They don't show you the quality. Like, it's not the quality of the print. You have to get the physical proof. And I was like, oh no, I've ruined it. Like, this is and then kind of dramatic at the beginning, but just because I thought like, wow, I spent all this money and I don't know. Immediately I emailed them and was like, look, I forgot to do this. Can you please send me a physical proof? I will pay for it. We'll do a separate invoice or something. And as it were, they were really sweet about it, and they even gave me like upgraded to overnight shipping so that I could see it immediately. I got the product and it just looks so good. Like, it was exactly what I wanted with the black printing. So maybe it was just that other print place that did that weird black text printing. But yeah, it looks exactly like I want it to look. I'm not going to say so good because I don't know if you'll like it or not, but I love it. And it was exactly what I wanted when I imagined designing it. It's something new. I would say I've done it before, but I haven't. I've never manufactured this before. It has been something that's been around once upon a time, long time ago. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. That'll be in the play box. I have 1,000 of those, so those will go to Etsy afterwards. Yeah, that's how the product ordering thing kind of goes. And I'm doing proofs for other things. I sent through the wrong files for things. Like, so much stuff happens because I'm constantly on emails and I forget who I'm talking to or who this person is, or suddenly they throw a new assistant in the mix and I'm like, I've never talked to you before. Who are you? Which company are you? What company is this? What am I making with you? It's a lot to keep track of, in my head sometimes. So I've got it all written out, but yeah, some companies just be really shady, like trying to change your invoice after the fact. I had that happen. They were telling me that I changed the order and I was like, I didn't request any changes, so why is the invoice different? As it is, they're late with their production time. They took a whole month just to approve it on their end, which that was including all of the changes they decided to make without approval, and like, it was the same people I said in August that I'm not working with. So I have learned my lesson truly. I know some people said like, oh, because I talked to a few people about the product that I made with that company, and they said, oh, we really like that, you should maybe think about doing it again, or maybe you could have a different company or something. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It was a bad experience working with them. okay customer service, like they're good people, I know that, but they're just not very competent. So I couldn't do it again, and as it is, they've been giving me the biggest runaround with this whole thing. So yeah, it's a lot of that stuff happening, but I'm super excited. I do need to watercolor these like immediately yesterday so I can get all the files done, send them off immediately, just so I can check them all, because I need to know before I order the Creator Box products if that's going to work. Otherwise I'll have to choose someone else, some other company, I should say, to manufacture that product, which is fine. I have alternatives, but I want to know if that one would work, because I think washi stickers for this particular product would be really, really great. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Oh, my thing's flashing. I've never seen that flash before. Maybe the memory card's full. I think I have to get rid of all the videos on here. Okay, that's it from me. I'll speak to you again really, really soon. Until then, I'm assuming the next bit of footage will be me watercoloring those. So enjoy, bye. Is this hair gonna work today? Oof, no. I need to get a haircut like yesterday. Good morning, everyone. Guys, look who I found. Hi, Bea. She does not like this. I don't have much to say today before Bianca starts hissing and getting so angry. Bianca, say hello. She's posing. Alright, go be over there then. Bianca's gone. She was not happy, and now I have black cat hair all over me. So I'm just gonna quickly say what I'm doing. I'm filming a video that I'm excited to film because I've wanted to film this for a long time, and it's kind of an extension of collage and illustration, except this time we're formatting together a whole bunch of whatever. It might be a full journal spread, a full art piece, who knows. But it's going to be a bunch of collage and painting and doodling and drawing, whatever, however that looks. And then I'm gonna photocopy it, I'm gonna go over that process again. And I'm basically gonna reinterpret each photocopy. Photocopying is not the greatest because it's not going to be a great look at the color and the texture of a lot of stuff. It doesn't photocopy at the best resolution. I could scan it and kind of print it out and tweak it. At the same time, I don't want to. Whatever I feel like it lacks in depth or texture or, you know, vibrancy, I will reintroduce that with whatever mediums I choose to go about doing that. And I'm just excited to see how the ideas stem off of each other and where it started and where it ends up. It might be 3 interpretations, it might be 5 or 8, it could be endless. Honestly, you could probably just keep going forever. But I think the idea of collaborating with yourself is a really interesting one because you know you better than you know anything else, and you also have access to all the skill that you have. So especially if you're pulling from stuff you've done before, if you're pulling from old drawings that you've done or old prints like jelly prints or painted papers or something, you know you've done that before, that you know you could do it again. And some people really like that because they don't want to feel like they're cheating by introducing other people's work. So that's like one facet to it. I don't know if I really need to go into that because I don't know how much that really makes sense. I don't personally feel like that, so I feel like it's something I shouldn't talk about, but I'm excited nonetheless just to start the video and see where it ends up. I will voice over it on the computer. Typically I would, if I was teaching something, I would try and voice over it live because it's a better look at how I'm really going through the process. Sometimes though, if I don't know that it's going to work out, like I'll do a lot of prep for live voiceover stuff. If I didn't, and I haven't really prepped out a bunch of this because it's kind of open-ended, if I don't know how it's going to turn out, it's kind of risky to talk through it because if I decide not to use that audio, I have to splice out all the audio and mute it and then have to make sense of the voiceover with this chopped up footage, which is terrible. It's a terrible amount of editing and I hate doing that. So I will probably just voice over this after the fact. And if there are key points to hit, this is not so much a tutorial as it is an exercise that we'll just watch unfold. But you could do it, and there will be steps, I guess, that I'll mention if there's a necessary step to mention. Basically, it's just play and copy, play and copy. So it's not really that hard to follow, but I will, if there was something I had to note, I would note it down and make sure I really hit that in the voiceover. So I'm really excited to start. It is kind of in the afternoon, so I'm wondering if I should have lunch first and then do it. Because if I don't have lunch first, I'll be doing this for a long time and probably get hangry. I should have lunch. I have salads in the fridge. I'm back on my health journey. Well, to be fair, I'm not really on a health journey. I've just reintroduced healthy foods to my diet. I was eating really bad for a while, and then I kind of was feeling myself burn out, and then yesterday I kind of like actually burnt out. So more recently I had introduced healthier foods so that at least I could kind of counterbalance some of the unhealthier foods that I was eating. At least it wasn't all unhealthy. Now it was like half unhealthy, half healthy. I'm just going to try and weed out the unhealthier stuff. But yes, I did just sneak that in there. I burnt out yesterday. I don't really want to go on to talk about it because it's going to be such a mess and such a nightmare. I'm still in process with a lot of those feelings that lead me to choose the work schedule that I choose. It is so my own issue. It's not funny. And because it's still in process, I just don't want to burden you with that. I don't want to bring that to you. I know it's technically behind the scenes and a good look at maybe how I feel sometimes, but I'm really mad about it. To be fair, I'm really irritated at myself. So I don't really want to talk about that. If that's fair and honest, I mean, that's how I feel. It sounds like whinging in my head still. There's no clear way to put it. I burnt out. My body put me to sleep. I just tried to have a 20-minute nap yesterday thinking I could just bounce back. Yeah, I woke up at 10 p.m. It was a mess. And then I went back to sleep and I slept through the whole night as well. So I feel very rested today, a little like I've got a bit of a headache because I had a migraine yesterday, but that wasn't the reason I went to sleep though, because I had that migraine in the morning. I don't even know. Now I feel like the migraine's coming back. No! I'll have some ibuprofen, hopefully. It's just a bit of it. Like, I feel like it's the remnants of what I had yesterday, to be fair. I just feel very heady, but I just don't want to talk about it. That's just it. Should I? I feel bad that I'm not, because I'm trying to be candid, but that's my candid truth. I don't want to talk about it. It's like arguing with myself. I don't want to talk about it because it's going to take too long. It's boring. It sounds like whinging at this point. The fact of the matter is I have not been choosing healthier options for me as far as work goes. I added more to my plate that I didn't need to because there was a thought in my head that, well, I said that if I hit a certain goal on Patreon that I would do this project. And because I hit the goal, I was liable to do the project. I wanted to do the project, it just was terrible timing for me to add something else because I was just overwhelmed with the work that I was already doing. But I felt a responsibility to do that because that is what I said I would do if I got the support on Patreon. So I don't like to bring people, I didn't want to bait anyone, and like if someone had, even if one person had said, well, I joined because I really wanted to help you make that happen, I would have felt terrible that I didn't do it. So I just decided to avoid all of those terrible feelings and just do it. I am still excited, and it is not the end of the world. It is work that I can do. It's just exhausting. And in exhaustion, I just become a little more irritable, I just become a little bit more upset, and obviously more and more tired, and then the tiredness just catches up and just puts me to sleep. So that's when I know I'm burning out. It kind of happened yesterday. I couldn't choose against it, which is terrifying because usually I'm very in control of when I go to sleep. But yeah, a lot of it is just because I felt accountable to the promise that I had made. And that is why I have to be very sure that when I'm saying things that they're either open-ended or I can give myself a get out of jail free card, because I refuse to not do what I said I would do. I just think it's such a lack of respect on my part if I were to bait and switch you, or if I were to tell you something was happening and it's not happening. Like, what if I gave you the playtest schedule that had like each day that something was happening and I just decided to do whatever and whenever and didn't upload half of this stuff? Like, I would never do that. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because I feel like it's also my own hang-ups that I feel like that. Like, there is my own personal reasons why I don't... I don't know. I can't talk about it. I hope you can understand that I just don't want to talk about it right now. No one's forcing me to, so I guess I can just turn the camera off. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna turn the camera off. Maybe I'll talk about it another time. I probably won't. I know me. So we'll just leave it at that. I got burnt out yesterday. That's a fact. But we're moving forward. We're gonna make better choices than we made yesterday. Hopefully, we can just push forward and help myself out a little bit more by being a little kinder to myself. I think that's the thing I need to focus on a little bit. So we'll do that, I guess, by doing something really fun today and just playing with all my arts and crafts supplies. I mean, there's no kinder way to be to me than to let me just play with all that stuff. So I'm gonna make sure I set myself up really, really well. Like, good YouTube content to watch, a nice little drink off to the side, lots of clear space, lots of supplies, just because I want to just play like without feeling cluttered and claustrophobic. I just want to enjoy myself today, so that's what I'm gonna do. I just cleaned up the whole studio space, so I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling being in here, and I'm just gonna take full advantage of that. Okay, that's it for me. I have to change this battery over, and I'll kind of film some of the process of setting up, maybe even filming it a little bit on this camera as well, after I eat lunch.
I'm a traveling spirit, I've seen many shores, from the West Pacific to the island of Cano. They treat me like a son anywhere I go, and even though no one can tell, I still feel that I'm alone. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it all on my own, on my own. I have learned that no one else can carry this load. It's a train where I'm the only passenger on board. Oh, there is beauty to enjoy on this road, but even so, I still feel that I'm alone. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it all